everybody? Welcome to the AVonAir booth. I'm Joe Dunbar, project engineer for Midwich. I'm here with my good friend Jeff Barnes. Business development manager for our M&E side, right? Did I get the title right, Jeff?
Yes, you are perfect.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, so we're at the AVonAir booth. We thought it'd be real fun. This has grown so much over the years, so we thought it'd be a good time to do a booth review. Like, we should walk through the tech in the booth.
Yeah, I'm happy.
We've been showing it off all week. There's a bunch of great stuff in here, much of which you can get from us. So give us a call if you need the hardware. But I wanted to chat through it. Jeff, it's grown so much from the years being almost in a closet, right?
Before my time.
Yeah.
Last year was my first year at the show, right, doing it. So, yeah, we did a version of this last year.
A little smaller.
I think we learned a lot.
Right.
It was like, oh, yeah, this can be run and gun. Throw some cables down, cameras in a room, few lights.
Yeah.
And then we're like, we can do this so much better.
Definitely.
So we took a year and we really brought in a lot of additional layers of tech this year.
I appreciate it.
To walk.
Yeah, we'll talk through it. I mean, to set the context a little better too, I mean, this started, I know Chris and I had worked on some things. It was like 2018 or 19, and it was really just a podcast station, a 4-channel mixer, some cans and microphones. It was bring your own laptop, record it for yourself and get on out of here. Now it's really evolved over the years. So we've got, let's start probably with the lights, which have been one of my favorite pieces. What are we using?
Lights are what everyone's talking about.
I know.
Here. I mean, the lighting was a little lacking last year.
Sure, it was okay.
I don't want to say it looked like a dorm room, but I mean,
it had the vibe.
It's definitely better this year. But this product is ICANN, and they have power over Ethernet. So that's what we're really highlighting in the booth is the cameras are NDI. Those hang off power over Ethernet SAS ports. So do the lights, and they can be controlled, color temped, as well as powered with a single cable in the back. And there's almost just a buzz in the AB integration side about this because that makes them happy. Everything just lands on a port. I can account for it and sign around it more easily.
Control it.
Have a DMX control system and all that. But there's QSys plugins for this as well, so we can.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
They've certainly been popular, and honestly, to your point, Jeff, and as we go through the tour, you guys will notice it's like, to your point, the switch, the network switch has become the hub now. It's no longer a giant video switcher plus a big DMX controller. And what it has really done is remove the isolation of these systems and lowered the requirements for a control system to become the center of it. Right now, the network's the center of it. So we've got the ICANN lights up. They're PoE. Do you know, this is a super technical question. The standard PoE?
PoE++.
Okay, yeah.
There are levels.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I asked because they get so bright.
85 watts per port, and then they just announced the double wide version of that same light. Cool. It takes 2 ports or 2 plugs, and RGB lights coming. So next year we'll have some color on the wall.
Yeah.
All that. So continues to evolve.
I'm so excited to see next year. But we've been using this booth all week. Let's keep talking through it. We tucked them away for this video because we're not doing it on the podcast system, but the microphones, we've got the standard go-to gold standard.
It's like a Fender Stratocaster, right? Yeah, it's the Shure SM7. So
we're using the DB models with the built-in preamps, which as a longtime SM7 user, when I found out the DB models with the preamps existed, I got so excited about it because that's always the crux of the SM7 was the amount of gain.
Shure party last?
I did go to the Shure party last night.
He was there.
Yeah. It was a great party. Shure knows how to do it.
Cut around this.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. But yeah, anyway, so the SM7 and the DB variant, gold standard for podcasting, broadcast. I mean, we use them in recording studios all the time, all that stuff. What about the cameras?
Bird Dog is sort of like the core technologies.
Yeah.
The Pantel Zoom cameras, those are brand new X1 flavors. Does that? That's a total hardware refresh on all the camera lines.
Yeah.
The board, but PTZ camera controller keyboard out there, as well as a switcher. So when we go,
we'll get into that. Yeah.
I very well. So like I said, quality of cameras, lightweight, easy to manage.
Yeah.
Great infrastructure.
And I don't want to get the spec wrong. It's a great sensor on these. I know it's a Sony sensor. I can't remember if it's the 1/2/3. I don't want to get that spec mixed up, but
This is really like the entry level, the X.
yeah,
And it looks amazing and
it does.
environment for which we are. So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, and those sensors handle, even maybe not optimum light so well that I really like those. And I will say, as somebody who's been in here all week, the tally light redesign, well, maybe a small detail, has been so nice and made our job much easier to know where to focus and what's going on. So
I don't need a floor manager, basically.
yeah,
You know where you're going next, and you know which camera's live, and
yeah,
it's really
that made life super easy. So, and then we do have an LG monitor in the room for preview back. And I think at this point, it's like, I'd love to go check out the control side.
well. That was the other thing we learned last year.
Right.
In the corner last year, hard switching this in the room. So if you were having any tech things that you had to really work through, you had to just be like, "Well, we're gonna ride the surfboard till this session's over, then try to deal with it afterwards." So yeah, being outside and having a production area, be good to go take a look.
Well, let's go take a look at what's out there. Awesome. So we're out front. This is the control side of everything, Jeff. There's a bunch of, I don't want to say a bunch. It's actually, this is a clean workspace. And this is the live workspace out in our booth. Let's like left to right it. What does the workflow look like? What are we starting with?
Sure. We're using some Kilo View, which is another, NDI core management for infrastructures, right?
Another
So
gold standard.
exactly. Encoding, decoding. So we've got a cross-point router for distributing all these IP signals around the booth. Monitor wall options to be able to build your own monitor wall with one HDMI out, so to see all your cameras at one time.
Yeah.
And then as we move on down, it's Peak to Z keyboard control from
The new KBD.
It is, and
It's what a great feel to this keyboard.
it really is. And just to be able to you can look at all your cameras at once on that screen, but you can switch it full frame to really know what camera am I actually talking to, set my presets. It's really easy to make.
I think my favorite thing about the screen, two things. I mean, the multi-view capability is just awesome.
Right.
It's an added thing that I could see a company releasing something like this without the multi-view functionality and everybody going, this is awesome, but it'd be great if it had multi-view. And so they thought about that, but also when you're working on focus and color balance and things like that,
Sure.
the ability to blow up a camera and really dive in, that's such a nice screen and it looks great.
Sure.
So the new controller, and I said it, I'll reinforce it, it feels, I'm not a camera operator. You and I we've all had our hands on some stuff, but this thing feels so nice compared to a lot of the keyboards we've had.
Yeah, it's really built in the history and feel of things that control cameras in other ways.
Right.
I used to shade cameras in the freelance world. So yeah, you get that controller in your hand.
Yeah.
You know what you're to expect. It's
The hand rest feeling great. I love it. And fantastic price points as all the Bird Dog stuff. So what's next?
Well, may hop around because I want to stick with Bird Dog, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about the cameras in there, the
Yep, the
X1s.
X1s.
they're all
Well,
big
and we got
control
the
here.
Mach-E Live for the live shot.
Yeah, there is. And
Yep.
that's another nice, what we
The wide
lovingly
angle.
called the beer can.
The beer can.
Yeah.
I've heard that phrase a million times in the show now, and it's stuck in my head.
But the thing that Bird Dog announced this year, and it was right before NAB.
Yeah.
That was this Bird Dog
The Mach-E
Studio controller, yes. And it's an iOS app. Buy this controller. The app comes free. It is the lightest weight control room in a box solution I've seen. I mean, there's other things out there, but they're all either doing a flavor of HDMI switching or something like this. All NDI, so all IP-based video comes in and out of this application. Has built-in titler, built-in audio mixer. It's really amazing how much stuff.
transitions.
It really competes with something that's got a bigger footprint,
Yeah.
a much higher price point. So I think they're really going after a market that you can run out with 3 light cameras, could be 3 of those small Mackie Lives,
Yep.
or just a couple and a couple of microphones, and you're up and running and putting out really good looking content.
Out of a backpack, basically. And, I was talking to Bird Dog about these solutions a bit this week and as well at NAB earlier this year as well. And I'll tell you, I've really been trying to pin down and get to them, like, what's the market you're going after? And you know what? In the conversations I've learned, Jeff, is like, as all of the technologies continue to kind of converge and cross over and do each other, like this serves so many markets, whether it's content creators and live streaming or what we're doing here, right, at the booths.
It's all levels,
Right, right. Ins and outs.
People say, oh, house of worship is an industry, a market. Well, it's not a fixed size market. There's different budget points. So
This would be
What-
great for a lot of house
There's a
sports.
lot of, and again, you can directly stream right out of that box, hit your socials, but full NDI out,
Yeah.
full HDMI out as well.
Right. So that's the bird dog world. We've got a couple staples up here in the middle. We're all running off the Netgear switch.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things hanging out here.
Yeah.
Couldn't do anything without a little bit of OBS running somewhere. It's just
required.
It's a producer channel to talk back into the room. So we're really not doing any of our switching, but with a Stream Deck, it's such a handy little box to have. But yeah, the Netgear is really literally powering,
Right.
all the lights in there is hanging off of this Netgear switch. So, at some point we'll be able to provide a solution that is the lighting, the switch to provide that power. And again, if you want a QSys controller, we can do that too.
Right.
So we can do all of that end to end right within what we offer to our AV partners.
In our lineup. I
Also
love
using Netgear for all the NDI switching and source signaling in the booth as well. So it's been a really good solution for us.
And that kind of brings us to the, I think what is the last piece in our partners at LiveView. We've got a couple of the boxes here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
It really is, people think, it's just, a satellite truck on the side of the road or a microwave link and it's going back to the call letter station or whatever. And that's the market for those guys.
Right.
They've loaned us 2 of these. They're a really great partner and their booth's right over here.
Yeah,
Actually not very far. So we're using it for 2 things in ours. We have a backhaul live stream. You can just download a QR code and hit that and really look at what we've been doing live in the booth all week when there's podcasts going on there. But another unit, we're using it for quick turnaround file access. So it's really just recording it locally and pushing that file onto a server that then the rest of our production team can access, clean up anything if it needs, tighten things up, and then get that moved out to our partners. We've been chasing people last year with USB drives around or whatever. This really just takes the headache out of all that. And as soon as it's over, I go, hey, you can download that, check it out. Let me know if there's any issues with it or move it on.
Well, I appreciate the look, Jeff, at all the technology we've been using. I hope the partners find this valuable. This is a live, real instance use case. Not even, it's from the field, but this isn't from down channel. We've been using this all week.
Yeah.
This has been one of the best setups we've ever, it's the best setup we've ever had. I don't know how we're going to improve next year. I'm sure it will, but I appreciate the time, my friend.
Give me a year to think about it.
Yeah, that's right. Jeff Barnes and Joe Dunbar from Midwich, thanks for taking a walk through the booth with us and joining us here at InfoComm 25. We'll look forward to seeing you next year.